Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Saba. I am a clinical holistic nutritionist and culinary expert here at Vitality MD. So thank you for joining me live today at the clinic. And I will continue on our topic of skin and beauty. What we will talk about today, and I will demonstrate, is nut milks. So before I get into nut milks, I would like to explain why am I talking about nut milks when I'm talking about skin and beauty. The reason being is that many Americans, and not all, but many Americans have issues with not having or no longer possessing the enzyme lactase. So lactase is the enzyme necessary to properly digest lactose. However, many people end up realizing that, they have all these gas and bloating, and they take away lactose from the diet by eating lactose-free milk, drinking lactose-free milk, or eating lactose-free cheeses, but still realizing that they still get that stomach upset and inflammation. And what they later realize is that maybe they don't have the enzyme lactase, but the problem actually comes from not being able to digest the milk protein, casein, right? And when that happens, we often see serious issues in terms of the microflora, so the microbiome, which I will talk a lot about when we do our talk here next Wednesday night regarding beauty and the brain. And that also results often in inflammation, oxidative stress, and we know that all these things will actually end up affecting our skin and beauty. So understandably, when we recommend a healing diet that will take away things like dairy, the first question that I get from clients is, where will I get my client? And understandably, that is a very important question. But I want you to go further than that and actually think about, well, where will I intake my calcium, but also my magnesium, my vitamin D, and my vitamin K. And why am I saying that? Because all these nutrients are necessary in order to transport the calcium into your bone, and then absorb it into the bone. All right, so when we're taking about proper bone health, we need more than just calcium. There's other nutrients that are necessary in order to have proper bone health. What we recognize also is that sometimes when people go dairy-free, they tend to maybe become deficient in certain things like magnesium and potassium. And that's why it's really, really important to always eat a diverse diet. And where you'll find rich sources of these things, we will go through right now. So when you're eating a diet that's rich in dark leafy vegetables and organic vegetables that are locally grown, you will get sufficient calcium from that. And those foods are, so you have spinach, for instance, which is also high in potassium. And then there's kale and collard greens, which are also a source of vitamin K and magnesium. You see how these whole foods contain more than just one nutrient. That is really important for proper bone health. Then you have broccoli, which is also a form of a source of vitamin K. Sorry guys, I'm kind of looking at my notes, even if it's all in my brain. Then you have dry beans, which, like for instance, white beans, are a rich source of potassium. Sesame seeds, almond nuts are also high not only in calcium, but they're also high in magnesium. While salmon and sardines, rich source of calcium, vitamin D, and potassium. So today, I want us to look at the different types of nut milks that you can do. And what I recommend is always rotate your nut milks. Never just stick to only almond milk or only coconut milk unless you have a nut allergy. Thereby, yes, coconut milk will be your option. But try to rotate. So sometimes you'll do a cashew milk, and sometimes you can do a almond milk, and sometimes you'll do a pumpkin seed milk, and sometimes a coconut milk. And I'll show you how you can make all of these. Today I'll demonstrate a special milk, but we'll go through different milks and the ratios, okay? So in terms of the coconut milk, you would take 2 cups, all right? So 2 cups of shredded coconuts, and then 4 cups of filtered water. You'd put that into your blender and then blend away. If you have a high-speed blender, there's very little chance that you'll need to go through this, what is this? This is a nut milk bag, okay? So in some cases, you actually have to pass your milk through here and then press it out in order to only retain the fluid of your nut milk. Now, coconut milk is a calcium-rich source, yes, but mostly it's a really good source of manganese, phosphorus, magnesium, and potassium. And I'm sorry, coconut is not a calcium-rich source. I will correct myself. You need to then make sure that you go into the other sources of calcium-rich foods that we talked before. So make sure that you're getting that kale and that broccoli and that spinach in order to get that calcium. And then from your coconut milk, you'll get your healthy fats in, and you'll also get your other minerals that are needed for proper bone health. Now, the coconut milk, you have to watch out because it is high in fat, very, very healthy fats. And the only reason I say watch out for is, let's say you're into a weight loss program, you just want to make sure that you control your portions. That is really all I want to say. In terms of almond milk now, you can do almond milk, and the way you would do is that you would take 1 cup of almonds. And what I'd recommend is that you need to soak those almonds. So please soak those almonds for 4 hours. And why is that? Because they contain anti-nutrients. So when you soak those, you actually break up these anti-nutrients, and it makes it a lot more easy for you to digest. When you actually do soak those nuts, what you'll notice is that there's this kind of a scum that comes off. It's kind of disgusting, actually, and you want to make sure that you rinse and re-rinse those nuts properly in order to get rid of that. Once that is done, you put those nuts into your blender, and you can use 3 cups or 4 cups of filtered water. And why am I saying 3? It depends on the thickness of your milk. So if you want a thicker milk, you're doing 3 cups. If you want a lighter milk, then you'll do 4 cups, all right? Now, some people like things that are a bit sweeter. So there's a lot of recipes that will talk about adding some dates. Now, you can either add 1 or 2 if you're just starting off, but I'd really recommend you eventually cutting out that extra sugar that's really not necessary in your diet. And you can use half a teaspoon of vanilla milk. So that was for the almond milk. Almond milk is a really rich source of unsaturated fatty acid. It's a great source of fiber. It's really, really good for your microbiome. And your microbiome, again, is really important for proper nutrient absorption in your body, all right? And preventing nutrient deficiencies. What we will do today is what I call the sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds milk. Now, it is not my personal recipe. It's actually a recipe that I learned from the Academy of Culinary Nutrition. This is Megan Telpsner's recipe. It's a great recipe in terms of being high and rich in minerals and also rich in protein. And why is that? Because we have hemp seeds. So here I have 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds that I'm going to put into the blender, which is a rich source of plant-based protein. Then I have 2 tablespoons of pumpkin seeds, which are high in zinc and magnesium, which I will put in here. So 2 tablespoons. And here I have 1/4 cup of sesame seeds, which are high in calcium, which I would put in here. Then I have 2 cups of water, of filtered water that I put in here, and I will add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. All right, you will blend this away. Woo! Nobody wants my hair in their milk. There we go. All right, so pardon the noise. Here we go. And here we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, so what do we do now? We take this bag. Let me put this away. No, maybe if I start not bringing my notes, I'll start reading them. Maybe that would be a good solution. All right. And then this is nut milk bag. What do? You put it through. And you will need to, there will be very little residue, especially with a high-speed blender. And what you do, see how I press it out? So you're just milking your nut. That's pretty much it. Okay, I'm sorry. And here we go. So, as you can see, it's a really quick and easy process. It actually takes less than 5 minutes and you have fresh milk. And compared to the store-bought milk, and I'm not saying that, you should never buy it, it's all fresh ingredients. There's no unknown ingredients in there or preservatives or additives. It is really, really all pure goodness. Here we go. All done. Let me just rinse my hands for a second here. And all you need to do now is to put it in a bottle. This will keep for 3 to 4 days in your fridge. And there you go. In 5 minutes, you made milk for the next 3 to 4 days. Thank you so much for joining me live again today, and I hope I see you next time. Take care. Bye. Bye, guys.